We will do chapter 12, Canto 5, conversation between Maharaj Rahugana and Jada Bharat. Till yesterday, we had come to a very interesting part where Jada Bharat is telling him about all different kinds of things. Actually, yesterday's part was one of the toughest to understand. Though I have gone as slow as I can, but if I go back to the previous verse or the previous verse or the previous verse, it is going to be extremely tough to go through the whole process. So I'm going to make it as simple as I can. So now we will just carry on with the next, chapter 12. King Rahugana said, "O most exalted personality, you are not different from the supreme personality of Godhead. By the influence of your true self, all kinds of contradictions in the Shastras have been removed. In the dress of a friend of a Brahmana, you are hiding your transcendental blissful position. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. O best of the Brahmanas, my body is filled with dirty things and my vision has been bitten by the serpent of pride. Due to my material conceptions, I am diseased. Your nectarian instructions are the proper medicine for one suffering from such a fever, and they are the cooling water of one scorched by the heat. Whatever doubts I have about a particular subject matter, I shall ask you about later. For the time being, these mysterious yoga instructions you are giving me for self-realization appear very difficult to understand. Please repeat them in a simple way so that I can understand them. My mind is very inquisitive and I want to understand this clearly." So, King Rahugana also has the same problem. What was taught, what Jada Bharat told him was complete bouncer. He doesn't understand a word of what was being said. So he says, "Can you make it still more simpler so that I can at least understand certain part of what you said?" So, O master of yogic power, you said that fatigue resulting from moving the body here and there is appreciated by the direct perception. But actually there is no fatigue. It simply exists as a matter of formality. By such inquiries and answers, no one can come to the conclusion of the absolute truth. Because of your presentation of this statement, my mind is a little disturbed. So what has happened is, what was mentioned in the last chapter was basically, it was called Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is the most difficult thing to understand in the world. What is being taught over there is actually next to impossible to decipher, because let us say, for example, it is mentioned that 1 follows, 10 follows, 100 follows, 1000 follows, a million. Does anybody understand what that 1 follows, 10 follows, 100 follows, 10,000 follows, million? It's like an impossible thing to actually decipher the entire theory, which is based on what is happening in the mind. The mind is a very quirky creature, it is, in one of the lines it was mentioned that the mind is non-existent, but yet we believe mind is existing. So the hypothesis, actually we are basing everything on hypothesis. There was one more line where it was mentioned that the basis where the soul is based, it is in the mind. Now you will wonder, how, if mind itself is illusory creature, how can you have a soul inside somewhere there? Simple explanation is very complex, but if I put it very simply, it is like this, Now suppose you want to eat, let us say, an orange. Are you going to take the orange and gulp it like that? No, you will have to open it first, and then you have to remove the chilka from top, and then you have to remove pieces, all those sections which are there, you are supposed to remove them one by one, open it, remove the seed maybe, and then eat it. Still you will find that there is no orange in that. It is some sort of a chota, or what you call it, I don't know what you call it, and from that comes a juice. So where is the orange gone? You are actually drinking the juice and maybe eating that rough stuff, roughage as we call it. You are eating. So where is the orange? The orange is a very invisible thing. It's impossible to understand what is an orange. Similarly, in the same way, like this, what you have to do is, where is the soul? There is no soul first. Secondly, there is no mind. But for purpose of understanding, I have to say that there is a soul, there is a mind, it is over there, so on and so forth. All this is Jnana Yoga. So let us say how he is trying to understand. So he says, you said that fatigue is there. Fatigue means I am tired. Today I am very tired. What do I going to do? So he says, the body is tired. So direct perception is impossible. What is the meaning of the word direct perception? Direct perception means one-on-one. I can straight away see the thing in front of me. But it is impossible to know. The king says, no, I am not tired. Can you please tell me what it is all about? It is not about tiredness. It is not about rundown. It is simply is a matter that exists because of formality. So we need inquiry. To understand the truth, you have to go through the process of inquiries. Question, question and question. So let us now go ahead and see. The self-realized Brahmana, that is Jada Bharat said, among the various material combinations and permutations, there are various forms and earthly transformations. For some reason, these move on the surface of the earth and are called palanquin carriers. Those material transformations which do not move are gross material objects like stone. In any case, the material body is made of earth and stone in the form of feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, torso, head, throat and head. Upon the shoulder is the wooden palanquin, and within the palanquin is the so-called king of Shovira. The body of the king is simply another transformation of earth. But within that body your lordship is situated, and falsely thinks that you are the king of the state of Shovira. If everything is one and the same, everybody has come from dust is what is mentioned. Everybody is going to go to the dust. So can you make out the difference between dust of yours and mine and everybody difference? Can you make out? No. It's not mentioned over here that this dust belongs to the king. Nothing like that. Today we may be walking on the ground and you will say, oh, there was a dinosaur over here. There is a dust of dinosaur. And then you will say, no, 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 there was a dust of some other creature. We don't know. So everything is actually dust, no? Then what is it that makes the difference that you are the king and I am just a palanquin bearer? So the differentiation is what we are trying to understand. It is a fact, however, that these innocent people carrying a palanquin without payment are certainly suffering due to the injustice. Their condition is very lamentable because you have forcibly engaged them in carrying a palanquin. This proves that you are cruel and unkind, and yet due to false prestige you are thinking that you are protecting the citizen. This is ludicrous. You are such a fool that you could not have been adored as a great man in an assembly of persons advanced in knowledge. Exploitation. So the king was exploiting the poor people, saying that you carry this palanquin. Okay. Now, what Jada Bharat has told him is, you are exploiting these people. Now, again, what happens is exploitation is at various levels. We can say that even where you are working in a company, you will say that I am exploited. So exploitation is dependent on a relative factor. You may get $1 million salary and still you will say I am exploited. Nobody says you cannot do that. Somebody will get just 5,000 rupees salary and that person will still say he is exploited. So what is the meaning of the word exploitation? It's a relative term. It's your mind which is supposed to have this, what is the sense of satisfaction. Yes, I want 5,000 is enough. I don't want 1 million. But does that ever happen? It's never going to happen, because a man is always looking out for more and more and more and more and more. So that is the reason why he's saying that these people are thinking, you are exploiting them, and you are thinking that you are the king. Everybody has got a perception of who they are. You know how the perception comes. Just at the time of birth, you are told that you are the daughter or the son or something like that. Okay. Now what happens is, 2 children are born. And the father becomes the mother and the mother becomes the father. Today there is a very beautiful story which has appeared in the press which says, there was a father and then there was a mother. They went a sex change operation and the mother has become the father and the father has become the mother. So whom are you going to call the mother and whom are you going to call the father? Think about it. So isn't it a perception? Just because one has an extra hormone of this kind and another has an extra hormone of that kind, does that make a person a male and a female? Doesn't make it. Just because somebody is giving an egg, somebody is giving a sperm, doesn't make that father and mother. I'm sorry. If somebody is donating, we saw that beautiful movie over here. Okay, that donor, something donor, Vicky donor. Does it make him the father of all those hundreds of children? It's a big question mark, isn't it? It's a big question mark. Tomorrow they will, all of them will say, Papa, 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 what will happen to that poor fellow? So it is not known. Let us say some lady harvests her eggs right from the age of 14 or 13, whenever, till she reaches the age of, when the eggs stop. Now she harvests all those eggs and she distributes the eggs at 100 places in the world, and all of them have children. Whom are they going to call mummy? It's a very strange phenomenon. We cannot pinpoint that just because you have come from somebody's womb doesn't make you a mother or a father or somebody like that. You are not a son or a daughter. Son or a daughter is also an ambiguous term. Tomorrow you may become a tomboy. After that you may become a girl, and then you want to become a boy. Who knows what you want to become? It's all false perception. What goes about is, I am this. Something you call yourself, And that is the perception which you carry till you die. And you believe, and you start believing in the perception. It's become like an embedded factor for you. Okay? But this embedded factor is actually causing you a lot of deception. Yesterday, what happened was I received one phone call. Now this person came earlier, took some signatures from me, and after that I was taking a nap for 5 minutes, and this guy calls me up, and I said hello. He says, "Madam, वो है ना उनको phone देना." उनको मैं अभी आधा घंटे पहले मिलके गया. I said, मैं मैडम नहीं हूँ. Just because the voice sounds like a madam, so he's saying madam. So maybe I have to do voice training for myself, like that, maybe a gruff voice. So it's again a matter of perception. People make judgments. So hearing my voice on the phone makes the person believe that there is a woman at the end of a line. And it's again a false perception. So what Jada Bharat is telling the king is, you think of yourself as the king just because you have come from one particular race and you believe that you have become the king of that land. Tomorrow I can call myself whatever I want to. That doesn't, I can call myself the king of this universe. Does it matter? Does not really matter. I can call myself whatever I feel like. So you are such a fool that you could not have been adored by the great man in an assembly of persons advanced in the knowledge. All of us on the surface of the globe are living entities in different forms. Some of us are moving and some of us are not moving. All of us come into existence, remain for some time and annihilated when the body is again mingled with the earth. We are all simply different transformations of the earth. Different bodies and capacities are different transformations of the earth that exist in name only. For everything grows out of the earth, and when everything is annihilated, it again mingles into the earth. With other words, we are but dust, and we shall but be dust. Everyone can consider this point. It's the same explanation that is there in the Bible as well. It says, you have come from dust and to dust again you will go. Isn't the same words over here? One may say that varieties arise from the planet Earth itself. However, although the universe may temporarily appear to be truth, it ultimately has no real existence. The earth was originally created by a combination of atomic particles, but these particles are impermanent. Actually, the atom is not the cause of the universe, although some philosophers think so. It is not a fact that the varieties formed in the material world simply result from the atomic juxtaposition or combination. So Guru, your explanation is starting just now. Think about it. When this book got written, maybe 6,000-7,000 years ago, God knows when it got written. He's talking about how the universe came into existence. He says because of combination of atomic particles. Again, he is putting it in such a way. He says, that is what you think, all the atomic particles came together and the earth was formed. Nothing like that. He says, all these particles are impermanent. Today they are there, tomorrow they will disappear. We may have been at one given point in time just hydrogen. From hydrogen came helium, and from helium came lithium, and so many other things started coming out of it. How do you know? Today we are combining elements A, B, C, D and making some sort of a thing. Then we are combining, all different kinds of electrons, protons and neutrons, God knows what all neutrons that we have. Everything we combine together and we create one more new element somewhere. And then we try to run after that element, thinking, it has got a half-life of a millionth of a second, let us run after that for a millionth of a second. It's impossible to find. Again, they want to find God particle. God particle is a very elusive particle. Some people say that they have found it, some people say they have not found it. So what happened? What is the meaning of the word God particle? God particle is the particle from which other particles come. Because God is supposed to create the other things, isn't it? So, other particles cannot create God. God can create. So they say that is where the basic thing starts from. So let us find the God particle. So tomorrow we find the God particle, we put all the particles together, maybe we'll have a great entity called capital God. Think about it. You really believe that you can have put all the God particles together and then tell the God particle, sir, do this. Imagine God particle is going to listen to you, your majesty. He is not even going to listen to you. Whatever he wants to do, he will do. So again, atomic theory is based on, again, it's a relative one. It's based on some information which we really think it exists. But again, that is not true. We don't even know that. It is not a fact that the varieties found in the material world simply exist, resulting from the atomic juxtaposition or combination. So we think that finally, if you break me down, I will become hydrogen, is it? And then I break you down and further you will become maybe proton, neutron, and then you break down electron into something else. God knows what is going to happen. So tomorrow what I will do is I will take one bottle, I will put all electron, proton, neutron and shake it up, and day after tomorrow I am going to have a man inside that. How stupid can that be? It doesn't work like that. So there has to be something worthwhile. So what is it? We are coming slowly to it. This sounds funny, but since the universe has no real unlimited existence, the things within it, shortness, differences, grossness, skinniness, smallness, bigness, results, cause, living systems and material are all imagined. They are all parts made of the same substance, earth, but they are named differently. The differences are characterized by the substance, nature, predisposition, time and activity. You should know that all these are simply mechanical manifestation created by material nature. Everything in this material world, all these things are temporary. Shortness, differences, all kinds of differences are there. You are fat, I am thin. You are tall, I am short. All those kind of differences are there. This is black, that is white. All these things are there. So many differences are there. He is very clearly telling you, all these are imagined. Imagined because you believe they exist. There is no truth of their existing anywhere in nature. We believe it exists. So any person who says, I am fat, okay, put him in front of all the fat people and now let him call himself fat. Now he has become thin. Okay, now you put all the short people together. Do you think there will be any short person? No, everybody is short. Right? Now you put a parrot in front of all the mynas. Yes, he is going to look different. Now you put a parrot in between all the parrots. Can you make out the difference which parrot it was? No way of knowing unless and until you have put one name tag on him and you say, my name is Mr. Parrot. Okay. So you say, like you have, how you name your files, .1, .2, .3. God knows, so many dots you will put and you will name your files. Okay, this one is file number 1 and file number 2. But put all the files together and try to understand. First and foremost, your system also doesn't take it. It will say, oh, this is different. Do you want to replace that old one? It is going to tell you that. So now think about it. In the material world, all these are different, and everything is unreal. Okay? We are working on a laptop or a computer or something like that. Think about it. And you think the data is there inside that. I burn that thing somewhere. So your data is finished, isn't it? Then what do you do? So you will say, I worked for so many goddamn years and now everything got burnt. So what am I to do? So you go to the recovery fellow, is it? You don't understand. It is like, digging up a grave. You are trying to understand things which are actually non-existent things. Nothing is going to exist. Everything is going to get destroyed finally. Everything gets destroyed. So then was it there or not there? See, today you will find that there are lots of people who even if I show him that there was Jesus Christ, they will still say, oh, that is all story. You will find so many people will come up with stories that there is no Jesus, no Mary, nobody like that. Same way people will say there was no Krishna, there was no Ram, there was nobody. It's all stories. So what they are telling is the truth, is it? Few years later that will also become one more story. So then what is the truth? So he is telling you all these things, whatever that you can think of, all the parameters put together, they are all imagined. It is based on your imagination. They are made up like pots of mud, You make a mud pot, it gets destroyed, it goes back into the earth. What happens after that? It becomes mud only. So I know this is all this what I'm talking about is all theoretical knowledge at this moment in time, and you feel very heavy in your head and you say ना अभी एक चाय पीने का जरूरी है कुछ एक कॉफी जरूर पीना पड़ेगा नहीं तो हम लोग अभी सो जाएंगे. No, then what is the ultimate truth? The answer is that the non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. It is devoid of all contamination of material qualities. It gives us liberation. It is the one without a second, all pervading and beyond imagination. The first realization of that knowledge is Brahma, then Paramatma, then Super Soul is realized by the yogis who try to see him without grievance. This is the second stage of realization. Finally, full realization of the same supreme knowledge is realized in the same supreme person. All learned scholars describe the supreme person as Vasudev, the cause of Brahma, Paramatma and others. So what is these stages of realization? Stages of realization are many. You can go from one stage to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. You can keep on going. It's like a never-ending story. So only person who comes to the last stage has a complete picture about the whole. Now I am going to ask you a question, okay? I am taking a Google Earth shot over here, alright? I have taken a shot of this property over here. Now I am going slightly higher. Then I am going still higher. And then I am going still higher. Finally what happens? It appears like a dot. That dot merges into Karnataka will become a dot. Then India will become a dot. Then the earth will become a dot. And the solar system will become a dot. I still keep on going ahead. So where was the truth, by the way? Okay. Don't know where it is. So I don't know. So it is like a donut, ये सब .net के जैसा ये dot not know ऐसा करके रहेगा. Finally, what kind of dot are you talking about? All dot, you will become finally dotty in your head and think, पागल हो गया आदमी. We do not have an astitva. Astitva means existence. The way we think about it, I exist. So from which point of view are you seeing? So you are standing on top and you are seeing at 100 feet, 1000 feet, beyond that, billions of years away? No, you don't even know. So it's again a relative term, isn't it? So we don't know the truth. The knowers of truth, they do not exist in the body. They don't exist in the body. They exist in the super soul, Paramatma. They exist, the final destination. They exist in the final destination and the final destination is everywhere. So where do you want to see me? I can be anywhere that you want to see me. So think about it like this. If I keep on expanding myself further and further and further and further and further, and then I go reducing deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and smaller and smaller. So where will I end? There is no way of ending anything, isn't it? Neither this way nor that way. So expansion or contraction, there is no end to it. So where are we heading? So the only one who understands there is neither an expansion nor a contraction, everything is one, that person is called the knower of truth. So we will see what is the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth, it is without any material contamination. I just explained this thing at the beginning of the satsang, that I said everything that you think in the material world is a material contamination. What we are talking about is nothing material. Material is physical existence here. All these earth, moon, this, that, all these things. On the other side, we have the divine, unmanifest, not seen, not understood, never known. What is it that is there? It is called without a second, all pervading and beyond imagination. So where do you imagine it? In the mind, isn't it? It is beyond your mind. This person, which is called the divine, is beyond the manifest, the other side. And what is in between connecting is called the spiritual, the spirit. So to go on this side, you have to go beyond this. You have to decimate this. Go beyond and go and you have to not imagine it. You have to go to that. You have to touch this point. Full realization of the same supreme knowledge is realized in the supreme person. Only in the supreme person that this knowledge is realized. Nobody else knows this knowledge except the supreme person. My dear King Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear the entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of the great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. Who are the great devotees? The sages, the saints, the gurus, the mahatmas. Those are called the great devotees. Okay? Only when you touch the feet of the great devotee, that the knowledge will come to you. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy. That is brahmacharya. Strictly following the rules and regulations of householder's life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyasa, or undergoing severe penances in winter by keeping oneself submerged in water, or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and scorching heat in the sun. So you can do all kinds of gymnastics with your life. You can learn all the Vedas and the Shastras by heart. You can keep on doing pujas, parts, everything. You can do a householder's life. People say, no, I am a karma yogi. Okay, so what happens? Nothing happens. I went for vanaprasthashram. So what happens? Great deal you have done. Vanaprasthashram means tomorrow all the animals from the zoo will come and stay in your house. That is okay. For them this is one. And for you that is one. So which is one that you are talking about? You are an animal which was there in the society, in all this human society, is now going to stay with the animals over there in the jungles. So if the jungle animal comes to the city, does it mean that he is going to get realized, is it? It doesn't mean like that. So going to some vanaprasthashram doesn't give anybody the right of saying that I have become realized. Again, you can do puja, part, all those kind of things. Accepting sannyasa, you can have sannyasa, you can become a great sannyasi for all you know. Wear orange kurtas and roam all over the place doing like that all the time. Nothing is going to happen. Okay? Or undergoing severe penances in winter. Like in winter, you will stand feeling very cold, teeth are chattering and all that. Okay, you are standing over there naked. Okay, I saw that Hila's photograph in America. Standing with wearing all those kind of cloaks on top of each other. You can keep on wearing clothes, or without clothes also you can stand in there and you can say, I was doing penance over there. Nothing is going to happen. Or you can go and stand in equator for all you know, getting fried and toasted also. Nothing is going to happen. So he says, all that you want to do, you can do. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of the great devotee. So you can try all your level best. You can do all your tigadambajis that you want and try to understand the real truth. Real truth is never known. You can go and you can, turn the Vedas inside out and drink them as juice. Every day drink one Veda as a juice also. Still no knowledge is going to come. And seriously. You can't do this kind of thing in your world. The only way of getting this knowledge is when you are at the feet of the great devotee. That is what we call as the Guru or the sage. Who are the pure devotees mentioned here? It's an assembly of pure devotees. There is no question of discussing material subjects like politics and sociology. Can you imagine there were politics and sociology during that time? You should write a thesis on this. There was politics during that time also. Think about it. Acha, you want your land passed, that you want NOC for that. Okay, I'll accept so much money. Give me this, that I will. And then think about it. And we keep on thinking of sociology and all. I can only think of some great things. A CSR activity. We call it by some fancy name. CSR. During that time also CSR was there. बोला मैं भी करता था. वो कुछ नहीं, वो बाजू वाले का है ना, मैं गाय का दूध निकाला, उसको है ना बेचारे को नहीं आता है, तो वो CSR हो गया मेरे लिए. Come on. So what kind of activity do you call it as a CSR? Just giving some fancy names. So sociology, psychology, everything was existing during that time. By the way, the chapter we are learning, last chapter was on psychology. I don't know whether you noticed it or not. It was all about the mind. Did you see the last chapter was full about mind only? And this time there is some philosophy also coming into the picture. So let us see. It's an assembly of pure devotees. There is a discussion only of qualities, forms, and the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is praised and worshipped with full attention. In the association of the pure devotee, by constant hearing such topics respectfully, even a person who wants to merge into the existence of the absolute truth abandons the idea and gradually becomes attached to the service of Vasudeva. If you go for any of these great satsangs or you go for this, people have these very huge satsangs. They come with a bunch of cards. Today, Kalpana also went to some institute and she carried a huge bunch of cards for distribution purposes. So what happens is like a business activity. So what do you think? That's a business activity that you are coming for a satsang. Okay, this is my card. Kindly connect with me so that tomorrow. So the person who sent you for that, so what? And said, you should go and connect with people over there. Maybe you can get a job. That is not it's a social event. It's not a satsang. If somebody is telling you it's a satsang, it's a place where all the devotees come, it is wrong. Devotees, when they come, they only talk of Krishna. They will take such big books, big fat books, and they will sit and they will keep on talking about Krishna from different points of view. They will keep on saying, that Stephen Hawking should come and sit over here, but I don't know whether he'll be able to sit for such a long time. So, these kind of things. And what does it talk about? Only about the divine, nothing beyond that. He's only talking about Krishna, 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 and Krishna. In the previous birth, I was called Maharaj Bharat. I attained perfection by becoming completely detached from the material existence. Activities through direct experience and through indirect experience I received understanding from the Vedas, and I was fully engaged in the service of the Lord. But due to my misfortune, I became very affectionate to a small deer, so much so that I neglected my spiritual duties. Due to my deep affection for the deer, in my next life I had to accept the body of a deer. Sorry. So did you understand? He is telling his past story. Now, past story can only be told by those people who have attained this perfection. Those who have attained the state of liberation, they only can tell you who they were in their past lives. Rest of the people, they can keep on coming up with nice fictionalized version of the past stories. Not that they can. Then you have to go for what you call that some past life regression therapy. Okay, so My dear heroic king, due to my past sincere services to the Lord, I could remember everything from my past life, even while in the body of a deer. Because I was aware of the fall down of my past life, I always kept myself separate from the association of ordinary men, being afraid of their bad materialistic association. I wander alone, unnoticed by others. Those who are on the spiritual world, they never want to tell the entire world who they are, what they are doing, and so on. They go around like normal human beings. They don't want to mix around and tell, oh, I am the great person. I'm wearing a crown over here. I am the king of this league. They are least bothered. They don't go about talking about themselves. They will talk about God, 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 and God only. Okay. Simply by associating with exalted devotees, anyone can attain perfection of knowledge, and with the sword of knowledge can cut through the pieces of illusory association within this material world. Through the association of devotees, one can engage in the service of the Lord by hearing and chanting, that is Shravanam and Kirtanam. One can revive the dormant Krishna consciousness, and sticking to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, return home back to the Godhead even in this life. So the only method of going towards this divine is by completely chanting the name of the divine. Full time, that means what happens is you have to keep on thinking about the divine only. There is no other thing that you are supposed to do. So, how much is it? Do we have time for one more, or can we stop over here? I think we'll stop here. Right? So I shall stop over here, the conversation between Maharaj Rahugana and the Jada Bharat. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. We can shut down.